And let's bring in our panel. Tia Mitchell, Washington correspondent at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and Nichole Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill. I welcome both of you. Thanks for joining us. Tia, I will start with you. Let's talk about those hoax swatting calls aimed at public officials. How concerned should we be about this?
Yeah, I think it's a concern anytime swatting happens. It's a waste of public resources. There is real risk that someone could get hurt or, quite frankly, killed anytime law enforcement is responding to something they believe is a serious and potentially deadly situation. And quite frankly, the people behind the hoax calls, it sounds like prank and fun and games until the FBI shows up on your doorstep and you face serious federal charges. So it is serious. We've seen it in the past. We've often seen it targeting people in the conservative sphere. But it's targeted people on the other side as well. It's something that, with people's addresses being public, it happens, but it really could have serious consequences.
I couldn't agree more. Let's switch gears a little bit, Nichole. The Trump transition team finally signed an agreement with the Biden administration to allow Trump's team to get started, but they're not allowing the FBI to conduct background security clearances. Is that common? How is that being received where you are in Washington?
It's very rare, and I think it is being received with skepticism by people who are critical of the Trump transition team or the Trump project overall, because the concern is that there are some nominees around whom there are question marks, let's say. Sure. Tulsi Gabbard, the former congresswoman, is the obvious example here. Someone who has been criticized by Republicans as well as some Democrats. Mitt Romney, for example, suggested at one point she was trafficking in Russian propaganda. To have someone like that not subject to background checks, I think does raise question marks. Now, of course, the Trump team would make a counter-argument about the idea that they feel that in the past they were unfairly tarred or tarnished by the FBI.
Absolutely right. Tia, let's keep on the subject of the Biden administration. Let's talk about National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan pushing back on members of the Trump team who are giving credit to the president-elect for the ceasefire deal in Lebanon. Was this a win for the Biden team or President-elect Trump's team moving forward?
I mean, on its face, it's a win for the Biden team. Biden is president. Biden is the one who has his has his staff, his aides in direct conversation with those leaders. But I think we would expect Trump to take responsibility. Right. We expect Trump to indicate that some of these foreign adversaries are going to be more likely to bring these conflicts to a close because he's coming into power. Now, will that bear out to be true? I think we'll see what the history books say. We'll see what these leaders themselves say in the coming weeks and months. But I'm not surprised that Trump is taking credit. But again, on its face, Biden is still president. So Biden gets to take credit for what happened while he was still serving.
Nichole, let's stick with overseas. Mexico responding to Trump's tariff threats with some serious threats of their own. So how unusual is it to see a president-elect already making policy and, of course, disrupting foreign relations?
Well, the first part, suggesting what the policy is going to be is not that unusual. But the extent of the disruption and the extent of the breach from orthodoxy here is very unusual. This suggestion of 25% tariffs on all imports from Canada and from Mexico. Most economists, regardless of their ideological disposition, believe that those policies would produce an inflationary effect. There's a suggestion from one report just recently that even tariffs at this level would increase the price of the average car to U.S. consumers by about $3,000. So that sort of thing is very, very unusual. There is some question mark over whether the threat of the tariffs is perhaps a negotiating move rather than one that the president-elect fully intends following through on.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.